Welcome back to Cronkite News. I'm Andrew Kurland, and this is your Cronkite Sports Report. The Suns travel to the Big Easy tonight to take on the Pelicans for Game 6. The Suns took a 3-2 series lead after Tuesday's victory in Phoenix and can grab a spot in the conference semis with a win tonight. And Devin Booker is still dealing with that hamstring injury. He's making progress, and tonight he's been upgraded to questionable. Guys like Mikal Bridges have stepped up in his absence, and Booker or not, it's still on the Pelicans to respond in this must-win game. The winner of this series goes on to play either the Jazz or the Mavericks in the next round. Two Tempe sisters spent their entire lives playing together on the pitch, but their shift is focused now to a different type of pitch. Cronkite News reporter Zachary Larson tells us how these two sisters are helping one another on the Valley baseball team.
Amy and Kaylee Gonzalez have been playing sports together their entire lives. The sisters played soccer at Tempe Prep and figured they had played their final game together last fall, since Amy is graduating.
We were like, oh, this is our last sport we're ever going to play together. Like, this is our last thing we're ever going to do together.
But little did they know they'd be back on the field again, the baseball field. After having 22 players on last year's team, baseball coach Brad Sullivan found himself with just 11 players on the roster to begin the season.
Get out of the way, David.
We weren't going before, and so I talked to their dad and Kaylee before one of the games, and I said, "Hey, would you guys be willing to come out and try out?" And they laughed. "Oh, coach is just goofing on us, And I was like, "I'm not smiling. We need you."
Amy and Kaylee had never played baseball before, or softball for that matter, but their brother David, who plays on the team, has helped them navigate the sport.
David's been playing baseball since he was really little, so we always just go out front and throw the ball around, but I've never really played softball or anything.
The addition of the Gonzalez sisters has paid off, as the team is currently in contention for a 1A playoff spot. They can both pinch run, play the outfield, and even get some at-bats.
I've never coached a team, and I've been coaching for 20 years, 15 years at the high school level. We've never had a girl on the team, but they've all embraced it. They came out and they went through the whole thing and just got better every day.
Despite being the only girls on the team, the support shown from their teammates has made the experience worth it.
They've all been amazing. They've all been really supportive of me. I don't have a glove still. I use somebody's glove every game. They all give me their glove. They help me out when I need it. They give me tips and tricks. They do whatever they need. They explain things to me, but they're very good about just making me feel a part of the team.
Amy and Kaylee hopes that their experience will show that other girls can play baseball just like them. In Mesa, Zachary Larson, Cronkite News.
Usually what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but over the next couple of days, everyone will know what comes out of the NFL draft. The first round is just getting underway at the Strip, and the Cardinals will have the 23rd overall pick tonight. And for likely the 9th year in a row, ASU football will have players getting drafted. There are 10 Sun Devils who are hoping to hear their names called in the coming days. The list includes players like running back Rashad White and O-lineman Kellen Deesh, who are both projected to go in the 4th round. Sports gambling is growing across the country, and most professional athletes are prohibited from betting on themselves or their sport, but not in MMA. Cronkite News reporter Parker Dunn caught up with an Arizona fighter who used people's betting against him, and that's why he bets on himself.
In each of his last 3 fights, professional MMA fighter Austin Worms was an underdog on just about every sports book. Worms was aware of this and remained unfazed, defying the odds each time he stepped into the cage, because to him, this is nothing new.
I've been the underdog my whole life, as far as sports. As a kid, I was never the most athletic, but I always had a good work ethic. I was always picked last in dodgeball, but then I'd be the last dude in there. I'm used to being the underdog. I like it. I embrace it.
Worms enjoys being an underdog because it allows him to make money by betting on himself, since professional fighting organizations such as the LFA allow fighters to bet on themselves to win.
This past fight, I put money down on myself. My paycheck gets that much better at the same time. So I'm totally cool being the underdog. If they keep letting me be the underdog, I'll take it, just because it's a better payout for me.
One of Worm's favorite things about being an underdog is that it gives him the opportunity to showcase his skill set and silence a crowd cheering against him.
It's the best. I remember my pro debut. I fought a dude who was 3-0. My amateur record wasn't the best, so they're like, okay, this is a feed me fight. I end up armbarring the guy in about a minute. The whole crowd was just quiet because they're all there for him.
Worms feels he turned the corner in his career because of the change he made to the mental aspect of his fighting.
They don't know my mind state. That's one thing you can't put in the books. This 3-fight win streak, my mind, complete another level than I was just a couple years ago.
Sportsbooks take into account many different factors when determining betting lines for a fight. But unlike wins and losses, one thing that cannot be determined by a statistic is the determination to win in the cage, regardless of who he is facing. In Surprise, Parker Dunn, Cronkite News.
Well, that's one for the underdogs right there. Well, that's all I have for today's Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Fatma.